Here are some things to consider, especially when specifically using the SIG Stabilizer Brace. If I'm going to mount this to my shoulder, what are some things I need to consider? Well, number one with this brace is not being a stock, there's no way that it's physically permanently attached to prevent it from shifting or spinning. So I can actually take this and spin it, and now as you can see, it's cockeyed. So that's not going to be helpful to me if I go to try to mount this and get consistency and speed in my mount process. So I need to make sure that this thing stays squared away. As far as permanently attaching it with some type of glue or tape or something like that, that's an option. It's something that you could do once you got comfortable with the length of pull and exactly where it needs to be. But until then, that's something you need to consider. So where do I mount it? Well, you see a lot of times people will take these and they will mount them on the far side of their shoulder, and they may pull it out like this where their natural point of aim's off and they're kind of tilted a little bit. And we don't really want to do that. If you can imagine somebody pushing on my shoulder, taking and pushing it, what's going to happen to my other side? If I got pushed here, well, it's going to start to spin this way. And so that's where you get with a person when they're aimed in and they're shooting and they start getting this bang, 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 because it's banging on their shoulder like this, tilting them and spinning them the other direction. So what I want to do is I want to take that and I want to start shifting it into the center line of my body. Now, obviously, I can't have it perfectly center line of my body. I need to have it just off a hair. So I'm going to get it as close as I can get to center here. So now instead of it pushing me to the right, it's going to push me straight rearward. And that's going to be able to allow me to have a faster follow-up shot, which is obviously super important when you're dealing with any type of self-defense. So mount the rifle or the carbine or the pistol more center line of your body. So these techniques, they're not specific necessarily to the pistol. This is the same stuff we're using on the rifle. So when referring to the SIG Stabilizer Brace, it's not a whole lot different. So let's go ahead and show you a couple demonstrations of how I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and clear this pistol out, lock it to the rear, make sure it's empty real quick. Good. I see clear. So I'm going to work on just mounting it and driving it up. So again, just like I said before, I'm going to take it, I'm going to mount it more inward. And again, I'm going to focus on the bottom of the brace here, just like I would a stock. I'm going to put it here, and it's basically going to pivot like it's on a ball joint. So when I take this and drive it up to my cheek, I'm not going to bring my face down to this. I'm actually going to bring the carbine up to my face. So I'm here, bringing it up. Notice what I'm not doing. I'm not standing here like this and then trying to mount it. I'm actually pivoting it up into place. I'm minimizing the movement, and also by not taking this and trying to mount it like this, I'm minimizing the mistakes that I will naturally make. In other words, if I know I'm here and I'm going to drive this up, I'm going to not make a mistake of mounting it too far here or too far here by being in a hurry and trying to mount it. So that's why we like to use the ball joint mentality of mounting it more inward and keeping this contact here. Now, as I drop the pistol down, if I'm standing more in a low ready position, one of the things I have to pay attention to is if I've got a magazine in here, specifically a high capacity one, as I start bringing it down, it's going to start hitting me in my lower stomach area, and that's obviously not comfortable. So then what you see is you see people start to pivot the pistol over like this, or the rifle. They'll pivot it over like this so it's hanging naturally and it's more comfortable, so you can bring it more close to your body and it's more like a ready position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to keep it still in contact with my chest right here. So when I drive it up, I'm actually rotating it up like this. So once again, I'm not losing that point of contact. So that's one of the main keys I try to drive home, is not only to have it center, but not really lose that point of contact, so where you can quickly drive the pistol or your carbine. This applies to carbines as well, rifles as well. That we can quickly drive that up and get that consistent, fast cheek weld that we need to get to put shots on target effectively and quick. So that's one of the main things that we see as instructors benefit our students in bringing their rifle up and getting shots on target quickly and efficiently. All right, so that's how that works with the SIG Stabilizing Brace. But what if you're not running a brace? What if you're running a pistol buffer tube or something like that? Well, I'm going to bring Rob in real quick, and I'm going to show you how that can still work using roughly the same principles. Now, he's not going to be able to maintain contact the whole time, but roughly we're still going to keep it center of our body, and we're going to drive it up to our cheek. We're not going to bring our face down to the carbine itself or the pistol itself. We're going to bring the pistol up to our face. So Rob, go ahead and bring it up a few times. You see how he's bringing that up? It's also center line. It's not way out here, because if it was way out here and he's shooting it, every time he shoots, you're gonna see that this is gonna pivot this way, and we don't want that. That's the classic movie scene of the guy going up and to the side, and we don't want that. We want them all center. So he's gonna keep it center, he's gonna drive it up, and that's where he's gonna operate from. So that's how you can make that same thing work utilizing just the buffer tube and not necessarily a SIG stabilizing brace. So this technique isn't specific to one type of device or piece of equipment. This thing works no matter what you're using, whether it's a pistol stock, or a pistol buffer tube rather, or a SIG stabilizing brace. It's gonna work no matter what. So now let's see how this principle applies live, and you guys can watch my body and the mechanics of what's gonna happen when I'm firing this pistol from the position I just showed you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and load and make ready at this time. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drive this up just like I talked about. I've got the good position here built. I've got my stance in place, and I'm gonna drive it up and engage my target. Bring it down. Again, if you notice, I'm driving it straight up like this. Now one more from this kind of ready position here. Notice my body is not shifting to the right at all. Notice I'm able to keep the rifle on target. Now I'm going to do it from more of a relaxed position here. I'm going to have to rotate the pistol as I'm bringing it up. Drop it down. Notice I'm hitting the safety every time I'm coming up and down. The safety is being engaged and disengaged. One more time, I'm going to do it from more relaxed position. And down. Another thing that I'm going to give you is a kind of a bonus tip. If you notice when I'm driving this pistol up and I'm engaging, when I get done, I'm not immediately dropping it back down. Why? Because I am assessing if I am satisfied with my work. I'm getting the habit of bang, 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 bang. Am I happy? I'm happy. I've got the result. I'm looking to see my target's reaction. I'm looking for that next reticle. I'm looking for that next front sight or next front sight post or whatever. I'm continuing to drive and staying in that gunfight mode or that shooting mode. So you don't want to develop the habit when you're trying to work on your mount of immediately driving up, engaging, and just dropping fast. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to bring it up, engage, bang, 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 and then bring it down slowly. We want to make sure that we're always chasing that next sight picture because it just promotes good marksmanship skills, and it'll make you actually faster in the long run.